Hi there, I'm Zoot Java. Today I'd like to talk about something to do with the unfortunate shooting of Dante Wright. And I don't know if people have heard of change.org. I saw something and I thought it was rather strange a long time ago to do with this change.org. So I just thought I'll sign up and see what they have to do, what they have to say. And I'm assuming that they are trying to raise money for whatever possible charity it could be. But they have one, it seems, almost every single day. They are finding something to have people sign petitions about. They typically will address it coming to you in your first name to make it look like it's a personal thing. We actually care, we're pals, we're ordinary people. And then they will word things in a very awful light in order to win you over, shall we say. Much the same as the mainstream media, the ones who say that people who put out content such as myself and others on here are giving you misinformation and disinformation. However, listen to what they say and how they phrase things, and you'll see the misinformation and disinformation. Now, in this little thing that they sent me, it says, warning, the following references police violence. Okay, so then it says, goes on to say, Zoot, police in the Minneapolis area recently gunned down 20-year-old father Dante Wright after a traffic stop. They stopped Dante to question him about the air freshener dangling in front of the rearview mirror. His body was left in the streets, just miles from where the George Floyd trial is taking place. Both the officer responsible for his murder and the police chief have resigned as of yesterday. But many think that this is not enough. Sign to demand justice for this young father. And it goes on with 2 places for you to click. And it says 20-year-old Dante Wright was murdered by Minneapolis area police. He was pulled over for having an air freshener obstructing the view of his rear view mirror. The officers refused to tell him why he got pulled over, so he got back in his car to drive away and they shot him. The car traveled several blocks before crashing into another vehicle. He died at the scene of the crash. His body was left on the street for hours by the police. He was a father to a 2-year-old. Help get Dante Wright and his family justice. Sign now with a click. Now, what do I have up my nose about this? I don't have a problem with people saying that they want to have actual change. Not a problem. To say that they would like to raise money. But I do have a problem when they are, in this case it's race baiting, but it could be anything at all. And it's just that they're wording it in the worst possible fashion. This one here whips up hatred. And there's no other way to say it. It whips up hatred. This is pouring fuel on the fire. That is people going out, rioting, possibly hurting others, looting, destroying businesses, setting things on fire. This is how this stuff starts, with people going out and irresponsibly writing things such as this. When they come out and they say, police in the Minneapolis area recently gunned down 20-year-old father, okay? Now, when you say that the police gunned him down, It makes it sound as though Jesse James got resurrected and he joined up with Al Capone's crew, and they all went in, pulled their guns out, and just emptied them until there was nothing but shells all over the ground, and there was a poor guy was lying there with nothing but holes in him. That's the impression that you get from he was gunned down. They chased after him and they fired their weapons until there was nothing left. I'm sorry, that's not what happened. It just didn't. I'm sure everybody out there has now watched the footage and has seen exactly what has happened. Then they went to talk about he only had an air freshener dangling from his rear view mirror. We're leaving a little bit out here. Like I said before, that, you don't put all the information in. People just go by what you say. It's called a lie by omission. Yeah, that's one of the things that happened. He got pulled over as his expired tags. Then they ran him, found out that he had an outstanding warrant. Now, they could have mentioned this, but they didn't. I'll give them the fact that that didn't happen. Okay? Let's say they didn't want to put that out there, which they didn't, because it kind of maybe going to keep some people from clicking on and signing on their little petition. And they also had to say that his body was left lying in the streets just miles from where the George Floyd trial is taking place. What are we saying here? Why did that have to be mentioned? Why did they have to say that this is right near where the George Floyd trial is taking place? Because everybody knows what a pile of crap ended up happening as a result of George Floyd's unfortunate demise. So we got to stoke the flames a little more. Just got to make sure that everybody knows. That was a black man who got murdered, in their words, by the police. And here's another one, murdered by the police. And they also talk about how the officer responsible for the murder and the police chief has resigned as of yesterday. But many think this is not enough. Sign in to demand justice for this young father. Yeah, she has resigned. And she also is being charged. Some people were trying to say that it was an accident. In my opinion, that's not an accident. That was gross negligence. Some people are trying to say that she was trying to get other officers to taser him while she had her gun out. And then she ended up shooting him because no one tasered him. I have seen the training when the officers were first given tasers, and they were told to pull it out and yell, "Taser, taser, taser." I've seen this training up here in Canada, and apparently it's the same down in the United States. What they're supposed to do, also from what I understand, is whatever your dominant hand is. If it's right hand, your gun is supposed to be on your right hand side. If you're left-handed, your gun is supposed to be on the left side. On the opposite side is where your taser should be. In my opinion, the taser should be up in your chest area. That way there is no mistaking it. Okay? But that's just my opinion. It maybe also make it a color like orange or yellow. Guaranteed 99% that you're not going to make a mistake. You're going to see as soon as you pull it out that it is a taser. Anyways, This woman has been on the force for 26 years. Why would she throw it away for doing something like this? This was obviously an accident in her behalf. But in reality, in my opinion, it was gross negligence. And she's going to have to face up for that. But there's no possible way that they can get her for murder. This was not an intentional murder in any way, shape, or form. I'm just sorry. That's just the way it is. As much as people want her to fry for this, you know, it just didn't happen that way. Now, they also say that he was murdered by them. Murdered. They have already tried and convicted this woman in this thing here, where they're trying to, I'm assuming, raise money, because you are signing on here for a click, starting a petition. Now, they said the car traveled several blocks before crashing into another vehicle. He died at the scene of the crash, and his body was left on the street for hours by the police. That's true. This was not a murder, though. As I said, gross negligence at the most. The car traveled several blocks? Yes. Hit another vehicle? Yes. He died at the scene of the crash? Yes. His body was left there by the police. They make that sound like they didn't care, that he was lying there for hours, his dead body, no dignity, just lying there. That wasn't the case. They had to leave him there until the unit could come by and investigate everything. You just can't move a body, because whenever there's a case where there's a shooting or a possible murder, a homicide for that matter, homicide, which means the death of a person, you just can't do that. You have to leave everything exactly as it is. This was not done. They did not leave him lying there simply to make it undignified. If there's anything they wanted, it would have been to wipe this off the map, to have this entire day go away and never have happened. They talk about her and the police chief resigning. Well, of course she resigned because she's probably just having a mental breakdown right now. Anything that's going to happen to her is nothing that's going to be as bad as probably what she's going to go through for the rest of her life. Let's say they put her in prison. When she gets out, every single day she's going to get up and she's going to have probably like a PTSD where she sees that thing happening over and over again, like the movie Groundhog Day. I'll be surprised if she doesn't have a nervous breakdown after nervous breakdown after nervous breakdown. So the police chief, as for him, well, of course, he resigned. He knew that they were going to be calling for his resignation anyways. But also, what was going to happen was, and he had to put up with this at the press conference, where he tried to be 100% open and honest about things. He showed the footage when he typically wasn't supposed to. He was open, like I said, trying to do the right thing. He called it a riot. 2 people from the press said, do not call this a riot. This wasn't a riot. Well, it was a riot. And why did you engage with the protesters? They were asking. They did not engage until the protesters began stupid behavior. What did they do? They threw rocks. Some threw bricks. They were throwing frozen cans of soda at the officers. They're supposed to just stand there like idiots? So I think they possibly shot rubber bullets. I'm not sure about that. And then there was some tear gas deployed. Well, too bad. Get out. This is no longer a protest. And if it is no longer a protest and you're assaulting people, they got to clear. They really do. They've got to clear the area, or people can get killed. One of the policemen was hit in the head with a brick and had to go to the hospital. So my point is, this was very irresponsible of Change.org to word it in this fashion. I realize that it makes it easier for them to get more people to sign their little petition or to raise money by making it sound more horrible than what it actually was. Some people may say, well, how can it be more horrible than a death? It can be more horrible because it could have been that woman actually coming in there and doing exactly what they say. Gunned him down, murdered him. But she didn't. We really do have 2 victims here. One's still alive. She, as I said, unfortunately is going to live this through the rest of her life, probably nervous breakdown after nervous breakdown. Now, am I trying to equate it with this man's death? No. I'm not. Nowhere near it. Anyone loses their life, it's worse than anything that can happen to anybody else. So, unfortunately, that's what's happened. I'm really upset at the way these people have displayed things. And I wish they would stop doing it. The press has really got to stop it. But they won't, because this is how they get their clicks. Well, all I can say is, it's now time for the part that you've all been waiting for, my bad joke. And I've often thought, you know, why would you have glass on an aquarium? Because the fish are inside and they can't see anything but water. So they're swimming around. How many times are they going head first into that glass? Because it just keeps looking like there's more water, more spot to swim in, right? And if they do go and smash themselves head or face first into the glass, do they say, damn? Maybe not. Anyways, the algorithms are getting shot to hell, and they are doing everything they can to purge people like myself with opinions like mine. So please like and subscribe all my content. Hit the bell for notifications, so hopefully they will tell you when I put up stuff again. And send my stuff out on your other social media platforms, because I get censored by all the usual suspects. Until later, have a Java. on Zoot.